Good afternoon. It is February 14th, 2022, and again, I am home this week. Not allowed to go back to work for a few days, so it's going to be very sporadic as to whether I get this video up and what time I get it up. But anyway, here's what we're looking at for today. We were within the overnight highs and lows all day. You can see we formed some very strong resistance around this price level, and we couldn't even break higher than that. We did bounce at the overnight lows, but we didn't even, after it bounced, it didn't look back. And this actually looks like a spike in channel, even though we haven't hit those highs. Looks like we had this spike and channel, and that held prices for the rest of the day. So let's take a look. Early on, it looked like we had this blue channel here, this larger channel. You can see we got a nice bounce off of it right here, and then that kind of just fizzled out. And really, what was holding prices was this yellow range. Before we got this move down that couldn't make the overnight lows, we found some support at this price level. Spike and channel up, sold off, tested the lows, but I'm kind of re-summarizing when I already did that. So let's just take a look at these trades. 5 o'clock came around here. Let's see, right here. So it looks like we're going to get a nice, maybe a higher low off of a first, second entry, but we don't get that set up, and it kind of just fizzles out. This is just chopping around here. You might be thinking aggressive. This kind of looks like a failure right here, back at this trend line and the EMA, especially when this, which is technically the failure, doesn't work, but it's not at that EMA. I don't know. I think good chart readers can take trades like this. I shouldn't be, but I think good chart readers can. And so we get a bounce off this channel, and then it comes back, and you get a higher low. And really, the way I was looking at this was I had my range lows drawn right here. So that looked like a higher low back into the range. So I like that for that reason too. Turned out the range lows were a little lower, but and you get a first entry, failed second entry right here. I think if you want to be aggressive here, you can take this, because when you see this bar close so bullish, you might want to hop in there. It's off of the trend line, and that's why I like it. And then here you can see we keep making lower swing highs. So when you get this right here and this lower high, I think really aggressive people might consider this, but I just don't like that blue trend line that you're going right into. Then we come down here and we have a first break of this, so I'm expecting a retest of the highs. And you get a first entry, failed second entry, but it doesn't set up well. So I don't think you can take it. I didn't mark it. We're chopping around. We get a leg down, and we test this price level. You can see there's a low right there too. So it's all probably relevant to that area. We get that bounce, and you get a first entry, failed second entry. And that, with that bullish bar, we're expecting a retest of these highs. We are ranging, and that looks like you're going into the highs, but that just looks like a great setup. And if you're not feeling that, you get a nice short right here. We come to these this price level, and you get a really bearish lower high that I really like. It looks like to me, it's looking like we have two legs up. So one leg from here, and then a break, and then a second leg up, and a break and a lower high. I like that entry. And that is a big move down. You know, I was probably looking at this as a second entry short as well. Whether that's first entry, second entry, or like a double bottom right here. First entry, second entry. That's probably what I was looking at it as. But anyway, we come down here and find some support before a first failed second entry. And this is right outside these new this range low, so I really like that. And often you can ride this to at least the midline, if not higher. Here we found resistance at the midline and then started trending back down. And this actually started a very larger trend for a decent chunk of the morning. We bounce right here, come down, make a new low, and you get a first entry, failed second entry, and that looks good to me in real time. But if you draw your trend channel, you can see there's a break, and so we're not too short. And you're going into the midline of the overnight highs and lows, and we never made it to these lows yet, so it's just a little iffy, but it does work out. Come back, test this trend channel again, confirming it, and you get a lower high, but unfortunately that's just a doji. Then we make another swing, and you get a first entry, second entry. It's a lower high off of the trend channel. I think you got to take that. And then we just find support right here. First entry, second entry, not a good setup. All these dojis and congestion, but it does get you a scalp. First entry, second entry, again, not a great setup. Even though it's off of this larger trend channel, we haven't hit the bottom of that channel, and this looks like it's in a leg of correction, so not a great setup. This kind of looks like a reversal right here. I would really be tempted to take that if I was watching in real time. Yeah, it's a second entry long too, but it's just that we're trending down. That's a failed second entry long, but it's on the other side of the EMA. We don't know what's happening right here. And you could look at this as a first failed second entry. I don't know why I marked that red. I meant to mark that green because there's clearly support right here. And yeah, it's not too long before we reverse out of there. Nothing in here I like. This is a second entry, but it never triggers. We're just working up. And yeah, no, this is definitely a good entry right here that I must have missed. First entry, breaks lower. Second entry, closes above the EMA. Confirms that spike in channel. Well, actually confirmation came right here, but it's just a higher low off that spike in channel. And then this is a nice trap right here. If you wanted to go long here, you'd probably have to go on the engulfing bar. Yeah, but that's a nice trap. This definitely traps a bunch of longs right here. Then we channel up, get an overshoot that leads to a break. You get a first entry, second entry, plenty of room to the highs. Then you get a higher low, but this one kind of looks like this one. You're going into the highs. Note that we're going into the highs right here. Going into the highs, so that's aggressive. This is a little better than this one, though. And this kind of looks like a second entry long, but really all it is, it's a third entry. All these shorts get trapped because they're thinking that they're finding a top, combined with that being an overshoot. Let me delete these. And here you get a first entry, failed second entry. With that overshoot and the triple top right there, you might consider that. We haven't gotten a new low. We formed this short-term channel right there. Haven't gotten a new low after the break. And that sets off a big move down. You can see we got a first entry, second entry here, but unfortunately, yeah, this isn't new swing high. So, but you do get a first failed second entry right after that. Let's move this up. That's a great setup, and that gets you like a big runner. I forget how big, like 10 points or something. Come down here, first entry, second entry, right at that EMA. I like that. We're at this point, you know, we're trying to test these overnight lows. Especially we failed to make them up here, so we're trying to make them down here. Test them. And you get a first entry, failed second entry. I like that, honestly. I was looking at this, and then when this one formed, it just felt like I was reading it right, and it was a trap, and it's off the trend channel. And unfortunately, it's congestive, but it's definitely a trap. We hit these overnight lows and bounce. First entry, second entry short. I'm still looking at shorts. And this one doesn't set up great, but then you get this lower high. I really like that. But turns out that we're actually moving higher, and we bounce off this trend channel. You get a break, and then you get this. And this is actually a first entry, second entry. And the only reason I marked this blue is how bullish that is, and it closes on its high, and it's a second entry long. And it's above the EMA. If that closed below the EMA, I wouldn't be taking it because of how strong the downtrend was. And if you got the runner on that one, you could have easily had 20 points. And here we have a first entry, failed second entry long. I probably marked this. I didn't see that. I think I got trapped here thinking that this was a first failed second entry, but technically that comes right here anyway, and that worked out, but this one did not. So I was overshoot. I was expecting a break. We already had a break though. That's something I didn't think about either. I don't think. Come up here anyway, and it's clear that we're moving higher. So when you get a first entry, second entry, you see it breaks lower. Second entry. That's a great move. Again, this is like a repeat pattern. What we saw earlier, this going into the highs, higher, low. That's also a failure though, but you might want to go on that engulfing bar. Chopping around now. We get another leg up. This looks like a first failed second entry short, but then it just turns into congestion. And then here, this is just, it looks like a failed break lower out of congestion. You see this congestion here, and I like it. It's also a second entry long, so you can see it looks like a failed break lower from this price level. So we keep going up. You get another bounce off this trend channel, but it's not a good setup. And it looks like we're finding really strong resistance at the midline. But then we shoot right through it. And you get this failure setup. I think I just marked this because I got trapped here. Look, we're going higher. We're clearly making higher lows. We just broke through strong resistance. Yeah, the breakthrough or the breakout might fail, but go with the bias, which is up. And if you're reading it right, you get this. I guess that would be a first, second, third entry, but just after getting trapped, you know that's just a trap, and it's a great setup. It also kind of looks like a failed second entry short. One leg pullback, two leg pullback. And it kind of looks like a second entry long. First entry, second entry. And this is just all chopping around. I don't like anything here. And yeah, I guess that's for the rest of the day. So that's what I saw for today. I couldn't remember to switch back to my practice account. So I took like probably 7 trades. I don't know how many. Yeah, I didn't do well. I guess I went long here on this, but that's just the first entry. So that's unfortunate that I was taking a first entry like that. I haven't done that in a while. You want to wait on that high or low and to go back to the EMA, I mean. I was looking at it as a failed break out of here. Okay. But yeah, that's why you want the high or low. Exhibit A, right there. And so I go long here. I guess looking at this signal bar. Let's see if that even worked, because I marked this. Yeah, I marked it. 9150. Okay, yeah, so that does work. So I probably failed out because I entered too late. Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Look at when I entered. So if you can't enter if it's reached a scalper's profit, and that's what I did there. This one right here, this is a good read, but it was just too eager. I'm like looking at it like it confirmed my trend channel, but the setup just wasn't good. It's a second entry short. I guess it's not terrible. It's just that looks congestive and whoops. Good to know. That's okay. That's how you do that. Control E brings up these trades, just to let you know. Yeah, so this isn't terrible. It's just the signal bar is no good. But it's a lower high off that trend channel, and it's a second entry short. But then a really good second entry short comes right here. First entry, second entry, and that that got me a 10-point runner. So all I did was put my target right here, walked away. So at that point, I actually meant to switch to my practice account, but I didn't, and I took this second entry short. I really don't like this entry, to be honest with you. I put my target here for a reason, because I had a feeling prices would bounce, and look, they bounced here, and then they bounce again. So, you know, listen to yourself. But it did work. Went long here. Yeah, it's aggressive. It's I missed this trade, so I was probably being a little aggressive. But you're going into the highs. But I mean, it's a good enough read, and the setup was really nice. Let's see if there's another one. Okay, and this is a loser right here. I went short. I just got trapped going short. Just counter bias. So, you know, don't go against the bias. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Okay, so that's what I saw for today. I hope everyone had a fantastic day, and I will be back tomorrow.